what I'm saying. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The perception is ridiculous.
Unbelievable division.
I still think they could have sent 3 teams to the playoffs for sure. One of the best divisions in football. So there you go. Look at all of our past shows. We covered every division. A little bit less insight this week, but it's because we want to talk.
Yeah, season's starting.
We want to talk about betting, ladies and gentlemen. This is a pro betting podcast, but we don't even call it betting here. We call it investing. So we're going to give you some nice little investments, some ROIs for you to plug in this week. So I'm going to give you all of my bets, and Ricky's going to either kind of agree or disagree. So first one I'm going with, and I might be going out of order of what I have on the rundown. First I'm going with Falcons versus Eagles. That game is tonight, and this podcast probably isn't going to be out tonight, so we won't talk about this one too much. But past Alex, I'm going with the Falcons. I got this at plus 110 straight up on the money line. Now it's minus 120, so the public has agreed with my betting. It's leaned towards that way. I'm going the Falcons against Philly. As we've mentioned, Philly, no Wentz, no Alshon. Jai it was banged up, and now he's healthy. I think the Falcons' offense is just too good, so I'm going with the Falcons straight up. What do you think, Rick?
Yeah, it's a safe bet. It's funny because the Philadelphia Eagles are underdogs at home. Who would have thought that the defending Super Bowl champions would be underdogs at home
with the quarterback that won them the Super Bowl?
Exactly, and they didn't. Okay, we already just talked about what the Eagles have going on, but yeah, dude, I would not be shocked if the Falcons win this game. You took them straight up. I'd take the Falcons -1. I mean, I think Matt Ryan throws all over this defense, but it's week 1, and you don't know what's going on. So just have that in the back of your mind, everybody, with all these bets that we're going to talk about in the next segment here, that it's week 1. Teams aren't gelling yet. They don't know what's going on. It's a big question mark, so it's a very wide-open betting week.
So,
but I agree with your pick. I support taking the Falcons.
You brought up the -1. It was not in favor of the odds when I made this bet to pick that bet. So I picked the bet that gave me the best odds to win the most money. Now that's changed. So just to put that out there, for people that bet, they know what I'm talking about. That was kind of complicated. That was a lot of words. Didn't make much sense.
Words are hard, just like math.
Game 2, Vikings-Niners. This is one of the more staggering lines. I can't believe this. I got this. I picked this with the points, -6 for the Vikings. It's now -6.5. Vikings, they have the best defense, and they have a top 5 offense in the league. And the 49ers were 5-11 last year. I mean, I don't know what else I have to say.
And they went 5-0 in their last 5 games. Exactly. So the Vikings are at home. They have arguably the best.
And they're home. What?
They have arguably the best defense in the NFC. They've got a brand new quarterback who's thrown for 4,500 plus yards in his last 2 seasons. I got this because I made a nice little parlay about a month ago. I won't talk about the exact numbers there, but I got this at plus 5.5. Right now it's -5.5 for the Vikings. Now it's -6.5 because Vegas knows
the public's hitting it, so they're moving the line
Vikings.
Up.
This is probably the most safe bet you can make.
It's one of my top 3.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
I mean, the Vikings are going to win by a touchdown over the 49ers at home in the season opener.
The other one I love. Game 3. Cowboys-Panthers. Panthers are -3 right now, so that means they have to win by 4. In my mind, I don't believe in the Cowboys. I think their defense is suspect. I love Cam. I love his ability just to win games. I love Christian McCaffrey. C.J. Anderson's going to be so good for this team. I just think the Cowboys, again, the Panthers, they won 10-plus games last year. The Cowboys didn't. And I think the Cowboys are going to struggle to get to 8 wins, which we'll get to over and unders later. I have the Panthers -3, and I feel really good about this one.
And they're at home.
Exactly. I don't get this at all.
I know. It's week 1. Everything's up in the air. But Panthers are at home. 3 points isn't a lot. They had a very explosive offense last year. Cam had a very good season. I think he rolls off of that. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey, dangerous out of the backfield. And I don't know if Lee, the big linebacker for the Cowboys, is going to be healthy for week 1. So that's a very safe bet as well.
And they have DeMarcus Lawrence, who's really good. They have Jalen Smith, who was a top 5 pick, arguably, before he tore his ACL. He was a Notre Dame guy, so watch out for him this year. Him along with Myles Jack, 2 guys that were injured 2 years ago in the draft, both linebackers that are going to be really good this year.
So far, I've agreed with you on everything.
You agree on everything. My next one, Houston Patriots. I'm picking the over. It's 51. It's the highest over this week. But ladies and gentlemen, it's the highest over for a reason. These offenses go absolutely crazy. Also, I tweeted it out at Zappa Time 2, Rick's at Needmo Pimo. I tweeted out all my picks this week with bios about them. Here's the bottom line. Patriots have been top 3 in scoring almost every single year since Tom Brady's been at quarterback. In fact, they were the number 2 scoring team last year. When the Houston Texans had Deshaun Watson, they were top 3 in scoring. Patriots averaged about 28 points per game last year, 28.6 to be exact. When Deshaun Watson was playing, they were at 28 as well. So do the math. It's 56, but I even think it's going to be a blowout. Week 1 defenses aren't there. I think the offenses take over. I feel good about this one too.
I don't know if these teams are going to score 25.5 points apiece to get over the 51. The line I would take on this is Houston plus 6.5.
I mentioned it too, yep.
That is what is intriguing to me about this pick, because New England Patriots are without Amendola. He gone. Julian Edelman suspended for the first 4 games. Who's going to run the ball for New England? Nobody knows week to week. Last year,
it's like Burkhead. Sony Michel is practicing again, so he's kind
They've
of
got
there.
3 or 4 guys. They got the rookie.
James White. Sony Michel's the rookie from Georgia, yep.
And, Chris Hogan's like the top target right now.
My guy.
So, but Houston, obviously, Deshaun, he's healthy. Will Fuller's going to be streaking downfield.
Bang.
Hopkins is great. Lamar Miller's great. I'd pick Houston, Texas, plus 6.5.
I like, and that's the plus 220 on Houston. I think if you want to gamble, that's not a bad bet either. 2-1 odds on one of the best offenses in the game. That's not a bad pick 'em. My next game is a pick 'em. Literally, Redskins versus Cardinals, or at least when I had it, it is. Now the Cardinals are actually -1. I like the Cardinals in this one. People are saying the Cardinals could be one of the worst teams in the NFL. A lot of people are saying the Redskins could be good. Here's the thing with the Cardinals. They have David Johnson, who's a top 3 running back in the NFL. They have Larry Fitzgerald, one of the best receivers to ever do it, and has 2 consecutive 100-reception seasons. They have Christian Kirk, a rookie who's been doing some good things. And on defense, they have Chandler Jones, Patrick Peterson, and DM Buchanan, people at every single level that are pretty elite at their positions. So, and with Washington, with Darius Geis out, Adrian Peterson's apparently going to get 20-plus carries in this game, but he hasn't averaged over 4 yards per carry his last 2 seasons. No. On offense, you have Paul Richardson, Jamison Crowder, and Josh Doxson, none of which have really proved anything besides Crowder. And on defense, they have Ryan Kerrigan, Josh Norman, who's older and not as good as he nearly used to be, and DJ Swearinger, who's a good safety. But I think the Cardinals have a lot of elite players, and I think they can just make up for it.
Their defense is very undervalued. The Arizona Cardinals are. Again, they're at home. I picked the Cardinals in this one.
Yes.
It was at -110, and I saw that, and I'm like, no, I might have got it at plus. Anyway, Redskins don't scare me.
Plus a week ago.
Yeah. Alex Smith is not in... He doesn't have a groove with his receivers yet. It's week 1. It's going to take some time for a new quarterback to develop chemistry in game situations with his receivers. I think the Arizona Cardinals are a big winner this week at home.
My last game, and I'm going to typically do 6 pick-ems on my blog post. This one, Rick, this isn't my top 3. This might be the easiest money grab of the week. Rams, I got this at -5. I don't know how it somehow moved to -4.5 at home versus the Oakland Raiders. They trade Khalil Mack. Michael Crabtree's gone, who, whether you want to like it or not, he's been their best receiver over the last 3 years. It has not been Amari Cooper. He's gone. You put in Jordy Nelson. Marshawn Lynch is going to be the running back. But on defense, your best defensive players are Carl Joseph and Bruce Irving. Most people don't even know who those guys are. So I have no idea how the Raiders would ever even sniff covering 4.5 points versus the Rams. They're at home. They were the highest scoring team last year, and now they just overhauled their defense. This is ridiculous.
Well, this whole week doesn't make sense.
This is free money.
This whole week doesn't make sense in terms of where the lines are at. The Oakland Raiders are a joke right now.
They're awful.
Martavis Bryant's gone.
They
don't have a running game.
Sent a third-round pick to Pittsburgh 3 months ago, and then he cuts him.
Yeah, then he cuts him. I don't know what's going on. So Bryant's going to get picked up by some team. I wish that would have happened last year so the Bears could have picked him up.
He's a good player, too. Someone's going to get him.
I think the Rams, easy money for the Rams. One bet we didn't go over that I want to mention, the Bears are plus 7.5 now against Green Bay Packers on the road in Lambeau. It's week 1. Anything could happen, just saying. That's a homer pick in me.
It is.
It's a little risky, but you know what? Mitch Trubisky is going to find some guys. Jordan Howard is going to find the end zone a couple times. Aaron Rodgers, he'll throw for some, but I think the Bears go with him step for step. I don't say the Bears win, but I like the Bears plus. It's 7.5 now. I got it at plus 8.
What's the money line? What are the Bears straight up?
Plus 275, Packers minus 345.
I would never pick the money line. Plus 275 against the Pack. That's not great odds. As someone who's objective looking at that game, it's not crazy. But my rule of thumb is I'm pushing on all elite quarterbacks. Like, I'm never going to bet against the Pats. I'm never betting against Rodgers. I'm staying away from those games. But you're a fan, you know your team. I mean, the Bears or the Packers are in your division too. So, hey, if you want to bet it, I support it. It's a stay away from me. I don't disagree with that bet. I just wouldn't make a bet either way. So, not bad. So, that's our week 1 bets. We're going to talk some over-unders, and I have some player prop bets as well. But first, Rick's rant this week. We got some baseball, Rick.
Got to talk about baseball. I think that's the overall theme of Rick's rant. So, as I mentioned earlier, now that I'm going to be producing for Fox, I was in studio for the last 3 Twins games. They were on the road in Houston facing the defending World Series champions, and they got outscored 4-18 in 3-game series. That was not good. First game, what can you do? They just didn't pitch well. Second game, the Twins deployed the opener primary strategy. And if you're unfamiliar with this, it's starting one pitcher in the first inning, someone as a relief pitcher or typically your closer. Twins decided to go with Trevor May in the first inning, and he gave up 4 runs in the first inning of game 2 of that series. He was pulled after that inning. And then, and then they brought in Stewart. They brought in Cole Stewart after that.
Well.
Cole Stewart pitched well. He didn't give up any runs through 4 innings. 5 innings. However, the point of the opener primary strategy is for the opener to go through the top of the order, 1, 2, 3, so that the primary comes in the next inning and only has to face the top order twice through, because they say the third time through the lineup is when the starting pitchers get shelled by the big hitters of the offense. So with this strategy, you don't have to face the opposing team's best hitters 3 times. Doesn't really work that way. I don't understand it. Didn't help the Twins. It's a debacle. And they ran into Alex Bregman, who is making himself a case to be an MVP candidate. He went 6 for 10 in the series, 2 home runs, 4 doubles, 8 RBI, walked 3 times. He was impressive, and he got Dick Bramer to say, hey, maybe this guy's in the MVP conversation. Even got Tim Laudner to kind of think about it a little bit. Don't think Lauds agrees with Dick Bramer on that one. But, hey, Alex Bregman, 24 years old. He leads the Houston Astros in every offensive category. He's top 6 in a handful of categories in the American League. I don't think he has a chance to win the MVP with Mookie Betts and JD Martinez, but he's very good. Twins got destroyed this weekend. It's tough. It's scary, but the season's not over yet, folks.
Nope, and I think it's a good rant because people look at the Astros and they think of World Series stars like Altuve, who was in the MVP conversation last year. You had George Springer, Carlos Correa, you have Verlander, Garrett Cole, Keuchel. Alex Bregman has been the best player on that team. The second overall pick, as you reminded me of yesterday, Rick, from LSU only a few years ago. Back to the NFL, we're talking over-unders. I have money on all of these, so practice what you preach. I'm investing. My first one, Rick's going to disagree with me. The Cowboys over-unders at 8. I'm taking the under at minus 105 odds. Last year they were 9-7. My record for them this year, I put it on a grid. I picked every single game of every single NFL season. This is wrong. I probably should fix it, but it's telling on how I feel about the Cowboys. I have them at 5-11 right now this year.
That's very low.
It is.
And kudos to you. That takes a lot of time.
It did take a lot of time.
What can you do about that? We talked about the Cowboys enough already. I think they win more than 8 games. Yeah. The division's wide open. It's a question mark. We don't know how the Skins are going to be. The Giants can be terrible.
I think they finished last. I like the Giants. I like the Skins. My next one, Rick, you're not going to like this either. I'm picking the under on Bears, 7.5. I think they go 7-9. I feel really good about 7-9. I think the Lions are good, and obviously the Vikings are an elite team. Packers are still very good, and they're giving me 5 points. It's plus 105. Last year they were 5-11. I have them at 5-11 again this year, but I do believe in a 6-10 or a 7-9 record. I think the over would be 8 wins. I don't think there's any way the Bears are going 500.
8 wins is tough.
Thank you.
But it's a new vamped defense. I mean, they had a top 10 defense last year, and then they added a top 3 defensive player this season. It all depends on Mitch Trubisky. It all hangs on the arm of money man Mitch. I wouldn't put money on the Bears to go over 7.5 games. And I think that line went up because it used to be 6.5.
I think it did.
So
yeah, with Khalil Mack,
I agree with this, but not 5-11, man. Come on. They went that last year and they had no wide receivers.
I know. I have to change it. I have to go back and fix it.
So, yeah.
Panthers, my next team. Over-unders at 9. I'm taking the over. And they're giving me 45 points. It's plus 145. They were 11-5 last year. My record for them this year is 12-4. I think that's a little high. But still, Curtis Samuel's a really good receiver that they drafted in the second round last year.